I think we had 131 snaps today, which was good. We got a few more than we had last week, changed some situations up. We had some guys that had been banged up, which you have this time of camp, and some guys kind of pushed through. We held a few guys just for precautionary, and playing as many quarterbacks as we played today was probably not fair to the offense. It's hard for a quarterback that goes out there and plays 8 snaps to get in a good rhythm. Maybe when it's not like changing up series in a game. You play, other team has the ball, then you're back out there. But we gave all 4 quarterbacks an opportunity today because we feel like they deserve it. And so it probably hindered the offense's timing and stuff there. But had some guys that I thought competed much better today on both sides of the ball. The one thing that sticks out to me when you watch us is, we can get 8 or 9 guys to do it right on every single play. The problem is we have 1 or 2 that don't do it right. And if you don't have everybody doing it right, sometimes you ain't going to have success. So, and it's different guys every time. So again, it's talking about being consistent, being a master at your position. We got guys that are close and they're working hard to get there. And we've come a long ways in a short period of time. But we still got 2 weeks left before the first game, and we'll continue to grind like fall camp for probably 4 or 5 more days before we start working on West Virginia. So the next week is going to be important for our guys. It's going to be, you kind of get an idea now about who some of the guys are going to be, so you get guys slotted in on special teams. And moving forward, guys will get a lot more reps at certain positions, which will help us and will improve drastically over the next weeks just from taking more reps. Without any questions.
David.
Any update on if or when J.J. Peterson's going to join the team?
Yeah, he's finishing up a class, and when he gets the class finished up, he'll be here. So, would we have liked it to be in last week? Absolutely, but that's part of it. You got to do it, and he's working hard to do that.
Brian.
Coach, with your offensive front, I know you said you would limit some of the, or changing some of the reps around. With Trey expected to be back next week, how different is the offensive line managed as you move into the next week coming out of today?
Well, I don't see it being managed any differently than it is now. Obviously that'd be another guy who has had absolutely no reps since we've been here. So, and he's only a sophomore, so he's not played a lot of ball. It's not like we're talking about a 3-year veteran, so he'll have a throw him in the fire. Their body can't adapt. It's going to shut down. So we're just trying to build up their endurance, and that will be with all of them. So, but yeah, he was one guy that we held out.
Dave Levin.
Jimmy, after 2 scrimmages now, where do you see your quarterback situation as? Has anybody separated themselves at this point?
Every day when you watch practice, all 4 guys do some really good things. Again, it's about being consistent, and it's about making the critical errors. If you look at a drive, you march down through there 7 to 10 plays, but it only takes 1 play to mess up the drive. So we've got to stay out of the negative plays. And our guys have been, reducing those every day. Obviously JT, being the youngest guy, not being here and being new to college, he is, he probably hit a wall to start camp, but now things have kind of slowed down for him. The guy has some arm talent, so we wanted to give him some opportunities today.
Weston Grant.
Jimmy, a couple questions. First off, with the corners, are things starting to take shape a little bit there, or are you getting a better feel for that? And secondly, with the freshman defensive linemen, are any of those guys looking like guys who can step up and help, and not just because you need them to?
Right. Well, most freshmen, no matter where they go to school, you can sit there and meet with them all summer, or you can meet with them in fall camp. And when you start talking about pace of practice, the competition on the field, it gets overwhelming everywhere. you know, so that's why you see very few freshmen that come out and start the first game. You know, our guys are developing, all of them, the guys on offense, on defense, Paxton Brooks at punter, they're all developing, improving every day. So I think the more knowledge they get about what they're supposed to do and they get to watch guys do it kind of the right way, it gives them an idea. So we're happy that the direction all these guys are headed.
Jeremy, how long can you go into camp giving the 4 quarterbacks a shot before you have to focus on somebody for the continuity of the offense?
You know, there's a fine line there, but I think that because of the reps that we take on 2 spot and the guys get a lot of opportunities, we've been doing this all camp. So, you know, I think eventually when the first guy or the second guy or the third guy kind of shows himself, then we'll whittle it down. But until then, we'll just kind of stay status quo until we figure it out.
Awesome. Jim, what kind of mentality have you seen out of Jameer Johnson, and what do you like him at right now?
You know, Jameer is a really good competitor. He's got good balance, body control, plays with power. He's not an overly big guy, but he's got some power in his body. He can play probably all 5 spots on the offensive line. Again, this is new for him. He's coming from junior college, didn't play, I think 1 year in high school, maybe 2 years. So, you know, he's learning the way we want to practice. So, and he didn't get here until summertime. So, he's really improved the last probably 5 or 6 days. So we think he's got a bright future.
Robbie, Jesse.
Coach, you said after Sunday edge pressure was a problem. Did that get cleaned up today? And you know, was that a positive on the defense or a breakdown on the offense? What's happening?
You know, when you talk about protecting the quarterbacks, there's a bunch of things, a bunch of variables that are involved. Whether it's, you know, the O-line being on the same page. Hey, it may be the quarterback. He may supposed to know that, hey, if this guy comes, I'm supposed to get rid of the ball. You know, it might be a running back. So, again, it kind of goes back to when you got a bunch of new guys that are playing together for the first time, and they're not, you know, every day they're kind of swapping groups, and not just at quarterback, it's offensive linemen, it's tight ends, it's running backs, because we're trying to figure out who the best guys are, and then as we move forward here in the next 3 or 4 days, we'll figure it out, and we got to have a starting point, and that will be it. And then we'll give guys opportunity as we go through the season. But, you know, at some point in time, we've got to pick a lane a little bit at all positions.
Jesse just played.
Jeremy, did Juwan scrimmage today? And secondly, after the first scrimmage, you kind of lamented maybe some issues in the tackling department. How did that go with the added snaps today and just the overall scrimmage?
Yeah, Juwan did scrimmage, you know. Unless we make every tackle, I'm never going to be happy with how we tackle. And sometimes getting them on the ground, you might not be tackling the right way, you know, playing with the right technique. So we have a long ways to go to be able to tackle the way that we want to be able to when it comes to fundamentals and technique. Our guys are working hard to improve on it. And I can see them getting better at it, and I see confidence in them. But we still got a long ways to go.
Blake and David Oven.
Jeremy, can you touch on some things that you liked about what you saw from today's scrimmage?
You know, to start the scrimmage, I really felt like the offensive line kind of dominated the scrimmage with the 1s and the 2s, even the 3s. I thought they done a good job. You could see the line of scrimmage changing, which that don't say much about the defensive front. But as practice went, you know, I felt like that whether it's the plays, whether it's the, you know, how hot it was or how many snaps, you know, guys have taken. You saw guys that wasn't performing at the end of the practice like they were at the beginning, you know, so that's not exactly what we're looking for. We'd like to finish better than we start. So we've got to improve there. And when you watch tape, have a lot better idea, but I just know standing out on the field, you know, you see the line of scrimmage move. So it's good and bad.
David Oven.
Jeremy, can you break down some of what defensive play calling is going to look like on game day? How much of that are you going to shoulder, and what's that process?
Well, you know, with Kevin, Charles, Tracy, Chris, all of those guys I've worked with before. So really any of those guys could call our defense. All of them could. But as we go through the season, you know, we'll put the game plan together as a group. You know, I'm not leaving Terry out. Terry just hadn't been with us before, you know, so he's learning the stuff and he's doing a really good job at it. But when we get through the season, you know, I'll probably call the defense.
Wes?
Jeremy, in light of some of that stuff that's happened up there at Maryland, how tough is it as a coach to kind of push your guys, but make sure you're not pushing them too hard? And how much has that process, with all the science stuff and sports science, how much has that changed from when you were a player to now?
You know, I don't know much that's happened there, so I'm probably not the right person to ask about that. I know from my standpoint, you know, is it different now than it was when I played? Absolutely. You know, and maybe that's because we're smarter, you know, as coaches and technology, and you learn things. I mean, heck, right now, I mean, I had a guy call me the other day, and he said, I got to ask you a question. He said, you're telling me that they can wear a vest and you know how fast they're running? I said, yes, sir, and how many yards they ran and how many 12-mile-per-hour bursts or 15-mile-per-hour bursts. So from technology standpoint, obviously it helps you with soft tissue injuries. It gives you an idea. You know, you look out here and you got one wide receiver that runs 9,000 yards in a practice, and a guy that plays the same position only runs 5. Something's not right there, you know. So for us, we use our GPS system to get an idea of that, to make sure that everybody's taking the same amount of reps and nobody's kind of out of whack there.
Final question, Ryan?
Coach, you touched on it a second ago with the defensive line. What kind of camp have those guys had so far, just overall, and how do you come along, I guess, in developing some depth with some of these young guys you have behind the veterans team?
Well, you know, I would say the defensive line is probably like every position on our team. You know, every position we've got has had some really good days, okay? But we've not done it every single day, you know, and for us to be the kind of football team that we want to be, we've got to develop the right habits, to kind of play to a standard every single day, creating the right habits, you know. So everybody on our football team has flashed at some point or another during this fall camp, you know, but there is some guys that are, you know, probably doing it a little more consistently than others. There's a lot of guys that I've seen lots of improvement over the last 2 weeks. So we're headed in the right direction. We got to bring some more guys with us. We've got some guys that have the ability, but right now they don't have the knowledge because they're inexperienced. And they'll improve over the next, you know, 3 to 4 weeks. And hey, there may be some guys that don't play much early in the year, all right, but by the 5th or 6th game, they might be guys that might be starting for us and playing, you know, meaningful time. So that's why we practice the way we practice, so we can help develop all of our players in our program. You know, and I think it'll pay off for us in the long run.
Thank you, Coach. You got your hand.